Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the New Brick Workshop and this workshop notes video number 30. I'm going to start straight away by answering a query that someone put to me the other day who said, is the Festool CT26 suitable for use by a chimney sweep cleaning chimneys? And my answer to him was yes, because my chimney sweep did exactly that. We were having a new chimney liner put in our old house. Here's a view of the house from above, and this chap came and he started by cleaning the chimney before putting the liner in, and you can see he was using a Festool CT26. He had had it for about 6 years. It was filthy on the outside, but he said it works brilliantly. So there we go. A friend of mine asked me to help him out to hang a couple of gates that he has, and one of them had been hung up before and somebody had drilled several holes where a bolt should go and made a real mess of it. And so when I saw this, I said, well, let me see if I can fix it for you. So what I've done is I've started using a plug cutter set, which I got ages and ages ago from Axmith. So I can't remember how much it cost, but it's a 4-piece, or actually technically 8-piece set. And it ranges from 15 millimeters up to 30 in 5mm steps. And I needed fairly large plugs cut here, this sort of size. So I've used the 30mm plug cutter, and it comes with a 30mm Forstner type drill, so that you can drill the hole in the piece of wood, make the plug with the plug cutter, and then insert it in the hole with some glue. And I've done this for him. On this side, I had to use it twice because there were 2 holes which were separated by quite a distance. On the other side, I've got just a single hole, and it's worked really well. And cutting a plug is very simple. I've got sort of belt and braces, something really good to hold on to here. This is a piece of Douglas fir, a nice piece of wood. So I've gone through that piece of wood quite easily. And then in here is my plug. This is a little bit warm, so I've got a little piece of wood that will help me push it out here. And there's that plug out of that Douglas fir. And that's exactly what I've used in the gate. And once you've stuck your plug in and the glue's gone off, I use this cheap and cheerful little pool saw which I got from Screwfix, and it takes a minute or two going through Douglas fir because it's quite a tough wood. The trick is to keep pressure down on the blade of the saw, and that helps to stop the saw marking the wood. And do take care when you're towards the end of the cut, because the saw is very sharp, and if your hand's on this side, you can cut yourself. There we go. So that's that double plug done on this side. I've got to turn the gate over and trim it on the other side. But you can see the principle. Now, this is not a particularly expensive set. I think it's in the order of about £70 now, and I've had it for a long time. I haven't used it a great deal, but having something like this in your arsenal is very useful indeed. Now, although the plug cutter set will produce plugs which are up to 50 millimeters long, this piece of wood is actually nearly 70. So I've gone through with a 15mm hole here, all the way through, and I've got this piece of 15mm dowel which I've placed in. There's glue there. I'm just going to trim it off. I can do this because it's such a tight fit. I can do it before the glue goes off. No problem at all. There's that. So that's the job done. so when all this glue's gone off, this gate can be rehung and it will be as good as new. Now I thought I'd show you this little trick. This is the drop box for my 4-inch Cyclone, and I use this exclusively with my jet planing machine. Now this fills up reasonably fast, in fact so much so that I'm now using bags in here. Now if you put a bag inside a drop box, ordinarily that plastic bag will get sucked up by the vacuum coming through the bottom of the Cyclone. However, if you have a drop box which has a really nice smooth edge like this one, so that when you put the plastic bag on, it's nice and tight and it forms a seal all the way around there. That's fine. That means that now the vacuum here will be fighting against the vacuum that otherwise would be on the other side of the plastic bag. Because if you see, I can't pull the plastic bag out very easily. However, there is still some air trapped in there. So I want to get rid of that. And this is how to do it. Get your vacuum, just lift up one tiny corner, like so. Turn your vacuum on. Watch the bag. Just slip that back on now, and can you now see that the bag is now sort of more or less glued to the side of the dustbin, and that's how it will stay. But it only works if you've got a good seal all the way around this edge. There's someone asked me about the guttering and draining arrangements for the shed that I did not so long ago, and so I thought I'd better show you. The guttering is on both sides, comes down in 2 down pipes. I then take it down and under my bit of wood here, which is used to retain the soil. My soakaway is under this patch here, which is now finished off with a garden membrane and then topsoil, and now there's grass seed in there, which hopefully will start growing in the not too distant future. I'm in the process of making some slatted shelves for an airing cupboard. You can see the slats that go across, and these are a couple of pieces that will go underneath. They'll be screwed underneath, and then when this is turned the right way up, they will sit on other pieces at the edges inside the airing cupboard. And I want this to be nice and square with all these slats, and so I thought, well, how am I going to go about this? So on this side, you probably can't see it very well, I've got a par fence, and it's got 2 dogs keeping it on my Path Guide system created top. I've got another par fence here, and again it's secured with a pair of the dogs that came with the device. So now I've got a perfect right angle. So I can have my piece that's nearest to me hard against this par fence and hard against that one. All these others will be pushed up against there, but at this stage I'm starting it, so I'm only interested in the 2 at the extremes. Now this doesn't go all the way to the front, but I've marked a line where it should go, and I've got a line along here showing me where this edge should be. Similarly, I've got a line along there showing me where that edge should be, and a line here. So what I'm going to do now is to fix these 2 to this batten and this batten, and then after that I'll fix the ones in between. And it'll end up being nice and square. Now, because of the type of construction, it can move like so, but at least in the position that I want it to go in, all these will be in a dead straight line and it will be square. Now, ordinarily I would use glue for a job like this, but I know the airing cupboard this is going into, and it may be a temporary solution for about a year, maybe 18 months. So I'm not going to use glue so that I can then rescue these pieces of wood and use them for something else. Now the way I'm going to start is I'm going to push this bottom one up against there. I'm going to get these two absolutely spot on the lines here and making sure they're going off in the right direction there, and I'm going to put these two screws in. Now, I've just finished doing the introduction to the Festool TID18 impact driver. I put it in the T mode and I'm going to use it for fixing these screws. That's it. Not too aggressive. That's super. Now, in order to get this in the right place, I'm going to use this piece of wood, which I will push against the ends of these pieces. And then once that's against those ends, I'll push that batten against it. And I've just got to check that it's in the right place there. So I pulled it towards me, pushed it there. Everything's pushed up against there, so up against the pencil line. That's fine. And now I can do this one. That's fine. So I've now got the outer two. Don't need that anymore. All I've got to do now is make sure the ones in between are equidistant. Now, this is for an airing cupboard. Do I make sure that it's within 0.5 millimetre, or do I just judge it? To be honest, I think I'm just going to judge it. Right, I'm just making sure it's parallel, and I'm going to pop a screw in. Same there. Make sure this is parallel. Again, it's not rocket science, it's just to get it approximately right. So there we go. I now know that this little arrangement is square. And although it can go like so, it will, when it goes back to this position, be in a nice straight line there. So that's one done. Well, there I have my 3 shelves for the airing cupboard, and they're all nice and square thanks to the use of the 2 path fences on this top that I created with the path guide system. Now I just want to show you this. People probably don't realise that this is possible. I've got a piece of wood here which is just too wide to go between the tall dogs on my track saw cutting station. And I want to do a cut all the way down this edge. I've got a known good edge up there, so I've pushed that up against my right hand path fence. I've got a piece of wood here of the same material which is going to be used to help to balance my guide rail. So there's my guide rail in place. Now because the guide rail rubbery stuff underneath, which usually makes it stick almost like glue to whatever you're cutting, because that's not in contact with this piece, I'm going to use a clamp over here to hold my piece of wood absolutely in place. And that's holding it in place relative to my track saw cutting station. There it is. This is held in place relative to the track saw cutting station because of the tall dogs here, and also I'm using rail clips, and I can do my cut. And I've got no other way of proving that it's perfectly square other than using this square, which, if you've seen the 4-cut test I've already done of this new track saw cutting station, you will realise that this cuts more squarely than this can measure. You just have to take my word for it. That is absolutely, you can't see anything in there, no daylight whatsoever. That is a perfect cut. And this next cut is also too long, but I can't use that previous technique because I'm cutting in the middle of a sheet. So what I've done is I've put my path fence here, and this wood is pushed against it. This is my good cut edge, which I cut just now. I've put path superdogs, one there and one there. My guide rail's attached using the rail clips. Now the only thing to watch is that one is pushing the saw this way and the fence is at this end. So one's got to be careful not to add any pressure to send this wood in that direction at all. And there's that perfect cut. Well, that's it for this workshop notes video. Many thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.